Hello and welcome to How Not to Make Gravy Steak and Mashed Potato Bowls with honey roasted carrots and Brussels sprouts. It's the Every Plate edition, and we'll be doing this for at least 15 different recipes, just kind of consecutively here moving forward, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. So first off, as the directions showed, we're going to go ahead and looks like we're quartering some potatoes. So first I put them on this tray, and then I realized that we're actually going to be boiling them first. So I tossed them on the stove instead, and I continue to cut the rest of the potatoes. I just feel like I'm always hungry, so I got the Every Plate edition with the 5 meals a week and 4 servings each. So that's why from this video on, all of the portions and volume of produce that I'm using are rather large. Anyway, I've been fiddling with these carrots for a while. Trust me, it took a while because I'm just awful at preparing produce. But hey, if you're faster than me, you might actually be able to complete this recipe in the 5 minutes of prep it suggests you need, and it might be ready in 30 minutes. For me, that was like 100% not the case. It probably took closer to 2 hours. So anyway, at that point, I started slicing the carrots diagonally. That's kind of something it suggested as well. I'll put them on my way too small baking sheet. And it's not that I don't have a larger baking sheet, it's just the fact that the larger baking sheet doesn't fit in this somewhat crummy oven that I have. So now, I fiddled with some Brussels sprouts. I really have no idea what I was doing here the majority of the time, but all's well that ends well. It tasted delicious, so if you know how to prepare Brussels sprouts, it will go quicker for you. But yeah, I kind of didn't like the way some of them were coming apart, so I trimmed off some bits that were probably fine to eat. But like I said, I was happy with how it turned out. And my baking sheet couldn't have really fit all the stuff that I chopped off anyway, so no harm done there. So now, this is me attempting to, I guess, peel an onion. As you can see, it is clearly going tremendously well. I gave up and went to the garlic, or at least I thought I was done at the time. But if you know anything about onions and garlic, I wasn't. So I found that out later. And this is probably the only video that I included me attempting to peel an onion and a garlic, because it is just a tremendous waste of time, and nobody needs to watch that after this first time when we can all get a good chuckle at how tremendously large a struggle it was for me to get these cloves out. So yeah, eventually I do finish doing that. Again, it did not happen anywhere near the suggested 5 minutes of prep time per the recipe, but yeah, maybe if you're good, you could make that happen. So at that point, I started somewhat dicing the onions, and yeah, somewhere in there I was just like, what if I pop out this middle part? I feel like I was told to do that once upon a time. Feel free to comment in the comment section below whether or not you actually need to do that, and if I was just wasting onion, or why I'm even doing that in the first place. So at this point, I'm just trying to chop my fingers off, but then I'm like, what if I put my fingers this way instead? I think I saw it on a cooking show one time. So I continue to dice onions. It's a never-ending process. I don't think I ended up using all the onions that I cut up here, just because I don't really like onions or garlic that much, but I wouldn't say they're really worth taken out of the recipe entirely, just because they do kind of make a good smell, and they can definitely add some flavor to your recipe. So that's kind of the whole point. And I didn't have it yet, but I got a garlic press just so I didn't have to chop up the garlic in the future. Also, I was kind of told that onions and garlic made you cry, but I guess I was trying pretty hard not to this time, so I didn't. So that's cool. So meanwhile, I think I had already thrown the garlic and some onions into that pot with the potatoes there just a moment ago. Now I got my not-so-diced steak, and I threw it on the stove as well. I think I did this in 2 separate little pans there, just because it didn't really all fit. So you can see the corner of the blue plate. I tossed some seasoning there on the steak as well. But I'm going to cook this, put it to the side, and now I'll start the kind of second half. So meanwhile, I'm kind of stirring up the vegetables there in the oven. I didn't have any place to put them, so I just kind of held them halfway out of the oven while stirring them. This is me doing a 100% safe test on the potatoes to see if they were cooked all the way through. ultimately we'll be mashing them, so I do want them to be on the softer side. So I think I just put some more seasonings and maybe some of my onion and garlic into the pan. There might have been some butter in there. Looks like some water as well. There's a stock. Somewhere in there we're actually adding a tablespoon or two for flour. Just depends really the amount you're making. So yeah, now we're kind of working on our gravy, our sauce here. And let's see. So yeah, lots of good seasoning. Eventually, yeah, you just saw me, I put in all the steak to the gravy and we're just kind of stirring until it's all the way mixed. So this is the exciting part. It's where I get to throw potatoes around my entire kitchen. The good news in, when you have a small kitchen, when you throw potatoes around the entirety of it, they don't go very far because there isn't anywhere for them to go. So I did taste my potatoes. I was pretty pleased actually. So with a minimal amount of blending or whatever, whisking, however you want to call it, I was able to mash the potatoes quite satisfactorily, and that's that. So I took the vegetables out and I literally shook them and I threw them and I did all the spinning and lots of excitement for no apparent reason. There was no 360 in there, but it was still exciting. So anyway, at this point, I'm starting to prepare the plates, and that's what it looks like. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.